Hi, I'm John Groh, and I am running for Congress in Florida's 6th Congressional District. And I was sent the other day a questionnaire that I thought would be an excellent thing to use to go over on YouTube and create videos for each topic. So let's take a look at the very first one. And here we are, voter issues. First section, economy. What actions would you take that would allow Americans to retain more of their income and wealth? And the answer that I put, and I was limited to 500 characters and in some instances 250 characters, so I had to make them pretty short. Our monetary system, taxation, and policies need complete overhaul. We need to audit the Fed. Our current system is based on debt, not wealth, which is an inversion. It's completely upside down. We need transparency in federal financial matters. Now, what I couldn't go into on this short answer, I can address in this YouTube, but there's something that I want to show you first to sort of tee up the discussion. And that's a viral video that was going around Instagram last month that was stunning. And I'll just have to show it to you. Here.
I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows.
What he can't explain is basically this. In 1913, a private organization was created, called the Federal Reserve System. And this meeting was held at J.P. Morgan's estate on Jekyll Island in the dead of night to set up this, what would be yet another central bank attempt by the United States, and essentially to usher in what amounts to a banking cartel to allow them to get around all sorts of stuff for their benefit and not the American benefit. Well, after they created the Federal Reserve and it got sort of rammed through Congress, J.P. Morgan and his buddies wanted to make a killing, no pun intended, by funding both sides of World War I. And they needed America to get into the war to actually be able to do this properly. So he purchased 25 newspapers from around the country, including the Wall Street Journal, and ordered the editors to push hard on the American people to get us into the war, that it's our patriotic duty to support our brothers in arms, blah, 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 blah. And of course it worked. And we sent millions of our own citizens over there to fight and die in the trenches of World War I. And they came out, the Fed made a killing on this. And the bankers, the investment bankers, made a killing on this. This same model has been going on since. Okay, so many Americans bemoan the fact that we are, what, $35 trillion in debt now? But they don't understand that the system that we're in makes it impossible to pay off the debt. Why? How does the system work? Well, he was correct in saying that we issue bonds. What he didn't seem to be able to articulate was that we get foreign countries to buy our bonds, we get our own citizens to buy our bonds, but the primary entity that purchases our bonds is the Fed itself. And how do they do this? They wave their wand and go, poof, magically, here's $1 trillion of air money. And we're going to give this to the federal government in exchange for the bonds which they now owe interest on. So our federal government gets $1 trillion in monopoly money from the Fed, and we now owe that trillion back with interest, and this money now has entered our supply. And this is now available for banks to then lend and to do other things that we do, and ultimately for you and me and everyone else to purchase goods and services and sort of run life the way we've known it. Every time this happens, that we get more money from the Fed, selling them the bonds, and they buy the bonds, we get further and further into debt to this private corporation owned by God only knows. The Rothschilds, the Warburgs, I don't know who owns them. We've never audited the Fed. So there's the problem. The money that we have on hand that we've been given, because it's illegal for our treasury to print bills. We can only mint coin. So the problem is that we never have enough bills to pay back the entire debt in the first place. And if somehow we did, if we figured out some way to get around that, if we handed it all back to the Fed, there would be, in fact, no money in circulation. This system that we're in is based on an upside-down inversion. It's based on debt, not wealth. We think in terms of wealth because that's how we individually have to operate. If you or I don't have the money to go to the store, we can't buy the stuff. But the way our government functions, it's completely upside down and backwards. So you go, well, if they're funding the government through this mechanism, then why are we paying taxes? Why is there an income tax? As the British would say, that's a bloody good question. And there's really only one good answer, and I'll let you figure that one out, because they don't need our tax money. So, this must be addressed. All right? The survey that was sent to me is being sent in good faith. But here, answer this question in 500 characters. No wonder we're not getting to any solutions. Because if we ask the wrong questions, we can't get to the right answers. I'm going to come to healthcare, where you're going to see our inversion even more clearly. But I'm going to wait for the healthcare section to comment on that. So the next question that was asked was this: student loan forgiveness unfairly shifts the financial burden to those not responsible for student debt. Agreed. Do you want to pay your neighbor's mortgage too? How about all of the people on your street's mortgage? How much are you responsible for their stuff? See, this is where we are, folks. Next question. Should environmental and social issues like ESG, environmental, social, and governance ratings be used as a criteria in deciding where to invest public monies? My answer was, these are big brother tactics meant to force conformity and are nothing short of totalitarian strong-arming of our citizens. We must not allow any of these measures to prevail. So what's happening in China right now is your social credit score coming from social media and other places, tracking everything you're doing, what you're spending, and what you're saying, and what you're thinking, can be used against you. So they can come and take away your home in China because they don't like the kind of person you are. You're not conforming to the CCP. Yeah, the CCP is China's version of our deep state, our administrative state. It's the same gang, just different name for them, right? So this stuff must be addressed. And when it comes to our economy, until we can base our society on our wealth and not on our debt, we are working this upside down and backwards. It's like inside out. So it's imperative that Congress address these things at the core, that the stuff that's under the carpet. Cleaning the carpet doesn't get rid of the mold that's underneath the carpet. You know what I'm saying? We need to rip the carpet up and get rid of the mold. And that is what I'm running for Congress to help achieve. To get enough people willing to have the backbone. That's a hard thing for the Republican Party, by the way, having backbone. Oh my word. Don't get me started on these guys. But to get enough backbone out of the GOP and perhaps a few decent Democrats to say, you know what? We have got to fix the system itself. It's rigged against the people. So, all right. You know, and honestly, I'm mostly having fun running for Congress because it's like I get to meet people. It's pretty cool. It's a change for me. I'm a software engineer. I'm a process guy, and I like fixing things that are broken. I like taking code that doesn't work and making it so that it works. We need to do this with our federal government because we do need government, sadly, but we do. So anyway, folks, that's why I'm running. If you like what I'm saying, please, please share this. I don't have a huge war chest to reach a lot of people. So it's going to take sharing and people saying, hey, you need to listen to what John is saying, if you agree with what I'm saying. And if you don't, if you love the Fed, if you love central banks and you want more of the same, well, yeah, then don't like or share this. But if you do, I ask for your help. And if you live here in Florida in District 6, the primary is August 20th. If you're registered to vote, go vote. And if you're not registered yet, register as a Republican and vote. And I do ask for your vote. God bless you and thank you.